In the day's other news, President Trump says it is still too early to determine a U.S. response in the disappearance of Saudi journalist and dissident Jamal Khashoggi. In Scottsdale, Arizona, the president suggested today that it could involve sanctions against Saudi Arabia if the kingdom were responsible. But he said he wants to consult Congress.
I'm going to have very much Congress involved in determining what to do. We have $450 billion worth of things ordered from a very rich country, Saudi Arabia. 600,000 jobs, maybe more than that. And it would be very hurtful to this country if we said, oh, we're not going to sell it to you.
Meanwhile, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo denied a report that he has heard recordings of Khashoggi being murdered at the Saudi consulate in Turkey. Saudi Arabia said today that preliminary results of its investigation shows that Khashoggi is dead. Two top Saudi senior officials were fired soon after that announcement. Saud al-Qahtani and Ahmed el-Asiri were advisors to the Crown Prince. The U.S. and South Korean militaries today suspended a second joint military drill this year. Pentagon officials said they hoped that the move aids diplomatic progress with North Korea. The North has long protested the annual exercises, insisting that they are in reality dress rehearsals for invading North Korea. In Afghanistan, officials have postponed parliamentary elections in Kandahar province for a week. That is after a security guard killed the influential police chief and the local head of intelligence yesterday. The U.S. military commander in Afghanistan, General Scott Miller, escaped without injury. He told an Afghan news agency today that he does not believe he was the target.
What happened down there was an attack on the security forces. But I'll tell you, we still remain with the security forces. The messages we had from the Kandahar people were unity and peace and confidence in the security forces, very specifically in preparation for the upcoming elections.
A U.S. official confirms to the NewsHour that Miller pulled his gun during the attack. The Taliban has claimed responsibility and said that it had targeted both the police chief and General Miller. The group has vowed to disrupt tomorrow's elections in the rest of Afghanistan. In the Gaza Strip, the health ministry says that Israeli soldiers shot and wounded 130 Palestinian protesters today. 10,000 Palestinian demonstrators gathered along the border with Israel. Some threw burned tires and explosive devices at troops across the fence. Egypt is trying to broker a new ceasefire. Some 3,000 migrants streamed through a border town in Guatemala today, attempting to cross north into Mexico. They moved toward a border bridge and tore down a metal gate. About 50 got through before Mexican police intervened. The caravan has been traveling mostly on foot since the journey began in Honduras last week. U.S. Secretary of State Pompeo voiced concern when he met with his Mexican counterpart today in Mexico City.
We are quickly reaching a point which appears to be a moment of crisis. Record numbers of migrants. Foreign Secretary Vidagrán and I spoke about the importance of stopping this flow before it reaches the U.S. border. We are deeply aware that the way that Mexico will handle this, the way you will handle this, is your sovereign decision.
President Trump had threatened to send the U.S. military to the Mexican border, but later today he thanked Mexico for its efforts to stop the caravan. China reported today that its economic growth has slowed to the lowest level since 2009. It slipped to an annual rate of 6.5% in the third quarter. The Chinese economy was already slowing under government-imposed credit controls before trade tensions heated up with the U.S. Stocks were mixed on Wall Street today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 65 points to close at 25,444. The Nasdaq fell 36, and the S&P 500 dropped a point. And the Mega Millions lottery jackpot climbed to $1 billion today, making it the second largest in U.S. history. The odds of winning remain at about 1 in 302 million, but that didn't stop many from testing their luck. The semi-weekly drawings have yet to pick a winner since June 24th. If no one claims tonight's prize, next week's jackpot will grow to $1.6 billion. Still to come on the NewsHour, U.S. Secretary of the Interior Ryan Zinke under scrutiny for misuse of taxpayer dollars. How health care is playing in the midterm election race in Republican Idaho. Spain overtakes Italy as the main entry point for undocumented migrants coming to Europe, and much more.